Hey! Hello, everybody. This is Jodi here, and I'm about to start my radio show, which I record live here on Facebook, right? So glad to be with you after a couple weeks off. And because I'm pre-recording my radio show, it's not live, you won't hear that introduction, that little thing that we dance to. We're not going to be able to see that or hear that unless you go on iTunes and you listen to it as a radio show. Then you'll be able to, hi Nikki, then you'll be able to see that or to hear that. I was just saying that, Nikki, I was just saying that I'm not going to play my intro on Facebook anymore, so you don't get to dance to my intro song. But hi everyone, nice to have you here. Glad to be together again this Monday night. So without further ado, I'm just gonna start my recording. Hi Barbara. Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so hi. Hey everyone, welcome to Keep Calm Radio with me, Jodi Amen. I'm so happy to have you here tonight. Tonight is going to be just me. I don't have a guest, and I always do this show live on Facebook Monday nights at 6 p.m. So if you're listening to this recording, come on over next Monday at 6 p.m. live on Facebook, where I'm saying hi to all the people that are on. Hi Angie, hi Scott, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Or hi Helene, nice to see you. Well, thank you for all the hearts and thank you for all the thumbs up. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I had 3 weeks off from our radio show, and I am stoked to be back with you because you know that I missed you all. Of course, I was around. You know I was around, but I haven't been live, and you know that's quite different when you're live and you are talking and telling everybody, what you learned. It's so interesting because every week things come up. I'm just so busy, and I have a very busy family, and there's so much stuff, and every single experience that we have, there's things to learn, there's things to think about, and some of them are hard lessons and some of them are really awesome lessons and really awesome times. And so I always feel like, if you're an observer to your life, I think that's what I am. I've taught myself, hi Mike, good to have you here. When you're an observer, and Mike's like that, when you're an observer to your life, you think about your experiences. So you kind of like take a little step back and you look at your experiences and you think about, the meaning, making meaning around them and what they all mean. And everything means something. Everything is connection with other people, everything. Sometimes we could put too much meaning on stuff, right? Sometimes we could just put too much meaning on things, and that's detrimental to us. We have to lighten up a little bit, and that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk about the biggest reason that I stop my anxiety, and it's going to go with all that. But I was just introducing it because, yes, I've been away from you for 3 weeks, and usually I'm so inspired to tell you everything that I learn every day. And sometimes I don't have enough time to tell you, and it just goes by. But that's what happens, is like the next day there's more stuff that you learn and enjoy and see and you can relate to. If you're an observer of your life, if you're in the chaos and quite stressed about it all and just freaking out and repeating to yourself over and over, I'm so stressed, I'm having a bad day, it's awful, why is all this bad stuff happening to me? That repeating that stuff really gets you down. It makes things a lot worse, doesn't it? And so if you are an observer of yourself, this is not the answer. I didn't even get to what I was going to talk about tonight. But if you take a step back and you're an observer of your life, it takes the intensity of how you see everything down a notch to a much more handleable way, down to something we could make sense of and something that we could handle a lot better than when we're in the chaos of it all. So I just want to put that tip in because it came up to me. And thank you so much for everyone saying how much they miss me. Thanks, Sheila. I'm glad to be back too. Thanks, Helene. And hi, Becca. Nice to see you all. So yeah, come say hi. Ask your questions tonight. This will be a big time for you when the questions are done. The radio show is done tonight. So But I want to tell you, now this is so simple, and this is the thing, is that it's always simple. And, I've been doing these, I don't know if any of you know or not, but I've been doing these weekly, hi Tracy, these weekly happy soul messages, which I send out. I talk to Spirit and I download a message. And I've noticed after years, I've been doing this for like 10 years, but I've only been releasing it to my community for the last month. But I noticed that, everything's so simple. The messages are so simple, and we complicate things a lot. But I noticed in the last couple months that I've been giving the same advice. And I've been giving the same, actually years. I've been giving the same advice. And when I look back at my life and why I got over anxiety, it's the same thing that I did. The same thing that I did. You ready? Y'all ready to hear what I did? It's so simple. It's so simple. I got a project. Well, I got lots of projects because that's me. I love it. But I got a project. I got something to take my mind space. Anxiety needs your mind space. It needs you to pay attention to it. So it needs some time and energy from you to pay attention to it. Need some mind space when you're idle, when you don't have a lot going on. Do you ever notice that when you're in kind of a really intense situation or traumatic situation, you are just focused on survival, right? You have to get through it, and you're just like, what's the next thing? I gotta survive. And then after it's over and everything's fine and you're safe and the crisis is over, that's when anxiety comes, because you have a lot more brain space because there's not stuff to do anymore. When you have all that brain space, the anxiety will take it. It'd be like, yes, please, let me take your mind space. If you have it, give it to me. And so the best thing to do is not have it. And I know a lot of all those gurus are like, quiet your mind and all that kind of stuff. And so it seems conflictual. Like, you're stressed, and so you have to calm down, right? You have to calm yourself to have less stress, except for when you're idle, the anxiety comes in, and it comes in pretty strong because there's nothing else to take your mind space. Well, you want to put in that space something that's not stressful, right? Something, and I just love creativity, right? There's no better project than something creative, because creative is like, oh, the sky's the limit here. You could do so many different things. Any project is creative, but you need a project, right? We need to take your energy. We need to get you out of your head. If you're in your head, the best way to get out of your head is to get some kind of project that'll take your attention. Something that'll take your attention to good stuff, what deserves your focus. But the other thing that a project does, now you could get obsessed, right? So a lot of times with anxiety comes obsessions, where you get stuck in that cycle of that thought and you can't get out of it. You need to get out of your head. You need to do something else and put something else on your mind. And somebody asked me this today, and I think it was right in my post from this morning when I said, ask me your questions. It's like health anxiety. When one thing goes away, then something else comes. One thing goes away. So that happens a lot of times with people with anxiety. You have anxiety about something and you get over that, but another anxiety comes and kind of takes its place. You need to take your headspace and put it somewhere else, right? You need to get your mind on something else that's more productive or more purposeful or more enjoyable or more creative, because it makes you feel better. Yay! I'm answering. I didn't want to say your name, Crystal, in case you wanted to be anonymous. But so you want to take your brain and use it for something else. Yeah, and I've told you that a million times too. I got this. This is now in the beginning of this radio show. I was talking about how every day you kind of could be observer to your life, and you could learn so much about people and about yourself and about things if you're the observer. If you're not in the chaos of it, taking it personally and really getting upset, you could be at a distance and you could really notice stuff and be like, oh my God, I get people. Right? When people are miserable, they push it on other people, right? Or all these things that you could see when you take a step back and you're not so in your own, you get out of your own head. But I've been noticing, so this is one thing, when I'm talking to a client and I'm like, oh my gosh, I write this idea down because I'm like, I got to share this with everybody because it's could be helpful maybe. But there's this fine line between obsession and what? And having a passion, right? Oh, thanks, Sheila. Obsession and having a passion. So you could be obsessed with something and be cycling it in your head. Like if someone breaks up with you and you just can't stop thinking about them all the time. You just think about them all the time and you stay home and in your room and you're thinking about them all the time. And you don't want to get a project or do anything because it kind of feels safe to think about them all the time. Even though you're suffering so much, it's not safe at all. But for some reason your mind labels it as safe and so you think it is and you're just obsessed. All day long you keep thinking about what this means and what this means and what this means over the same questions over and over again. Do you think she ever liked me? Whatever. How many times are you going to ask that same question? It's gotten to like the obsession. The anxiety is so high. If you had a project and that project had some kind of purpose outside yourself, some kind of contribution, and it could just be a craft. It doesn't have to be I'm going to change the world. It could be any project is something. It has some contribution factor somewhere, right? Even if you're just making me a side table or something that I could have in my office, there's a contribution. There's some kind of purpose. Now, when you have a project that you're obsessed with and you're on that endless loop, and that's anxiety, one kind of anxiety, or you could have a project and you could throw your energy. People who are obsessed get worried that if they have a project, they're going to get obsessed about that project. But there's something different when you're making a contribution and you're giving some purpose in the world. That's what makes a difference. It turns the obsession into a passion and your life is a lot easier, right? The struggle is not there. Now, anxiety can become an obsession if you think about it that way. You think about it all the time, you can't get your mind off it. Or you could be focused on one thing that the anxiety is talking about at that time, right, in its obsession. You need a lot of mind space to do that. And so this is the biggest reason that I got over anxiety. I got projects. Hey, I have layers and layers of projects. I love every single one of them. They give me purpose. They keep my mind active and healthy and feeling good. They build my self-confidence up. I love to, take a step back and look at what I did. Now, I'm stirring a lot of pots, and I know that I've chosen to have this kind of life like that, and I love it. But that is going to mean that I'm going to be around a lot of people that are going to bug me because I'm around a lot of people doing business. I've talked to you a couple times on Facebook about, I've been talking to a lot of customer service reps. When you're stirring a lot of pots and have a lot of projects, that doesn't mean your life's totally happy. There is still going to be some people that frustrate you. There's still going to be some problems, and there is. But you take that step back and you handle them a little bit differently, or you really don't have time to give them a lot of worry and anxiety because your mind is taken up already doing something else. What projects do I do? Okay, so let me take some questions now. What projects do I do? Well, I do this. I make videos. I write books. I am bringing out I make online programs. I promote my business, a counseling business. I do projects around my house all the time. I keep it clean and organized. I have a huge garden. If you've ever been to my house, tell me what you think of my garden. It is unbelievable this year. It's so beautiful. And so I always have a million projects going on. My daughter is in acting and singing, and I'm like her acting coach, and we go over all our lines constantly. I listen to her sing, and that's a project, right? There's just so many projects that I do, and so that's the tip of the iceberg. So is that helpful? And you don't have to go that big. You could just have a Instagram page that, I was talking to this mom, and she's got 3 little kids under 5, and she babysits 2 other kids under 5. And I was like, start a mommy Instagram and put all the funny stories on there, because all the other moms will comment on it and relate to it and laugh at you, and you'll have a community. Like, it's isolating to be a stay-at-home mom of young kids. And then to have more, so you can't even go out, right? With 5 kids under 5, you really can't take them anywhere by yourself. And so you're really isolated. So that could be a project for her. That's one idea. but she also could, if she felt like I could redo her kitchen or redo some furniture, or and there's a million different projects. They don't. I know I'm giving you those examples, but sometimes there's write music, start a band, join a hiking group. There's so many different things that are probably, you could make a party. See, when I had a lot of anxiety, I'd like to, when I had a party coming up, like, so say one of my kids' birthdays or something, they were really little when I still had anxiety, but if I was planning a birthday party, if I was planning a birthday party, like, you have to do, you have to figure out the menu, you have to clean your house, you have to figure out who you're going to invite, the activity for it, a theme maybe, what the invitations are going to do, and send them out. See how it's like multi-level? Of course, it's a short-term project, but it's a multi-level project. And I talk to a lot of my clients, and if they do something like that, they're so distracted from their anxiety, they get a break from it for a while. That's when I started to notice, like, we're on to something here. Let me get to some more questions. Okay, Crystal says she decided to do a vision board. It makes me happy and hopeful and trying to find pictures of what I really want. That's a great project. I love it. Do a vision board. I still look at it today and it still makes me happy. So I was talking to this girl who lost both of her parents quite suddenly. It was really awful. She's a teenager. Terribly tragic. And so she has to go through a grief, and it's awful, and she's just a beautiful, beautiful person. But I wanted her to have some kind of project, just to have a break sometimes from it. You just need a break sometimes from that. And so we talked about during a room, and she's like, I have no idea what I want to do to my room. I'm like, just go on Pinterest. Get ideas. You don't have to do it yet. Just get ideas for a while. Even looking at ideas on Pinterest is a project. That's all you could design it 5 times before you design it, but it's gonna benefit you because it's fun, because it's gonna take your mind off the anxiety. I mean, sometimes even like putting an outfit together, you have a wedding coming up, and that could stress you out, but maybe if for a woman, this might be more for a woman, maybe it'd be fun to just figure out accessories and outfits, especially if you go to consignment shops, so it's a little more of a challenge. That is something that takes your, if I had earrings that were hanging because I don't have a necklace, like the planning of it. So simple, isn't it? But there's no risk to it, right? There's nothing scary about that. Yeah. Oh, hi, Molly. Hi, Jose. Any other questions for me tonight? Any other questions that you want to ask? Somebody asked about my Happy Soul messages. Let me talk about them again. I do these half-hour recordings once a week, and they come out on Fridays. But somebody asked me today by email if they might cause anxiety, because there's sometimes things trigger her anxiety. And my answer to that is, if you don't get anxiety with other things if you watch my videos and they don't give you anxiety, because I talk about anxiety in my videos, but I think I talk about them in a way that doesn't provoke anxiety, but I can't say that universally for everybody. And so I can't be sure they won't give you an anxiety, but if my stuff usually doesn't, the Happy Soul messages are really true to my soul, and so they're not a departure from how I am as a teacher in general. It's just more specific that, it's not me compiled, it's not good like adult learning theory, and I tell you 3 things, like I give you a theme and tell you 3 things. It's not so concise. It's really just these messages in honing in, and there's a spiritual aspect to that. So that's for different people who are interested in that. But there's nothing scary about it. Like, I don't talk about like the world's ending, because I don't believe that. So you won't hear any kind of gloom and doom in those, or anything that's conflictual, like divisive. Right, so that's just not me. So it's not me, and I am made by my relationship to Spirit and how I've had that relationship. So if that's not me, that's not something that would come through me from Spirit, because it would have already if it has by now. So I hope that answers these questions. Would you mind if I tell you love yourself? Wait, I love myself now than before. Oh, You love yourself more than you did before. Helene says this. I'm sorry. Helene says that she loves herself more than she did before. That's wonderful. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, I do too. I love myself a lot more now than I have in the past. It takes a little bit of work, but not really. We think it takes so much work. But we really have to let go of a lot of the judgments. And when we let go of a lot of judgments, which we do not deserve, self-love is quite easy because it's just being in the present. Thank you so much for the thumbs up and the hearts. Please keep sending them. Thank you so much. So you're welcome for answering. Oh, good. I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah, Barb says, thanks for answering that questions about happy soul messages. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on them, and I'm so excited to be offering them. And if they're for you, they're for you. If not, that's okay. You got a lot of my free videos and my radio shows back. I'm going to line up some awesome guests for you this fall on the radio show, and the end of the summer and the fall on the radio show, because it is going to, I'm really going to take this radio show to the next level, but I will always be doing it live right here on Facebook, 6 p.m. on Mondays. So you could always catch me there or download episode after episode here on iTunes, and I will love to have you. Give me a review, comment, ask me questions, and I'm here for you. So let me ask this Facebook group right now, any more questions for me tonight before I sign off? Thank you for the hearts. Well, you all are wonderful. I know it takes a while to type, so I'm going to give you some time after I ask that question, where I'm just staring at you and smiling. And I hope you take a nice deep breath. See some good stuff in today. You know, you could give your attention to what's negative, and there's a lot of it, or you could give your attention to what's positive. There's always that there somewhere. Thank you so much for, I don't even want to go because I'm getting hearts after hearts after hearts, and I really appreciate it. But thank you so much, everyone, and I bid you farewell. I'll see you next Monday. I do not have plans for what I'm doing next Monday, but I will be here, and I hope you will be too. So I will talk to you then.